Hi, and welcome to another edition of Adventures in Brew Slaying. I'm your host, Joshua Karpowicz, and today we'll be doing a Optimator Doppelbock. Optimator is made in Czechoslovakia and is their #1 highest alcohol per volume beer. It is also made with 5 different malts, making it a very, very different brew. And is also one of the most popular brews in the Czech Republic. It was easier to get it here in Florida than you might imagine, and I'm really, really excited about this beer. I love dark beers, and Bocks especially. They're very different than stouts, and they're very different than mostly any other kind of beer you can imagine. So, without further ado, let's jump into the brew. You're going to need a can opener for this. This is the beer itself. I don't know if you can see it. It comes in a rather large bottle. So let's get it open here. Okay. We'll see how it pours. By the way, this beer is 10% alcohol per volume. It's even high by American standards. And as you can see, it doesn't have a very large head on it, which is quite amazing. Giving it a whiff. Ooh, you can smell a lot of different fruits and caramels in this. There's definitely a lot of kind of grape and prune in there. It kind of smells like a little bit of apple as well. Really hoping this kind of turns out sweet. Definitely, you can smell the alcohol in it, which is great. I love higher end alcohol beers. This beer is very, very sweet, but it has definitely a large amount of alcohol that seeps through that sweetness. Oh, it's very thick too as well. The thickness is very reminiscent of maybe a stout or a porter, but this is most definitely a Bock. I don't know if you guys can kind of zero in on that. Like I told you all before, when you kind of switch it around, if you get that little bit of like a greasy kind of foam on there, that's how you really know that a beer is going to be very strong. It's very dark. Wow. And the flavor kind of stays the same the more you drink it. You know, a lot of beers, the more you drink, you get a lot more flavors from top to bottom. Not the case with this. From as far down as I've drunk so far. Same exact flavor. Now, I would really, really love a bunch of different people to try this beer because it's so sweet. You know, you kind of don't even realize there's any beer flavoring in it because it's just so sweet. It's really reminiscent, maybe not of a beer, but if you've ever had Jägermeister is definitely a good comparison to this. There's a strong liqueur, and the Europeans really do have this time-honored tradition of making beers something greater than itself. You know, here in America, we kind of drink these light lagers and stuff like that, which are great. You know, I love those as well. But this is truly something different. There's not a whole lot of carbonation in this, which is great. I think maybe the carbonation would probably overpower it. I mean, you could see tiny little bubbles in there, but it's not something so strong as maybe a Miller or a Rolling Rock, something like that, where it's mostly carbonation, and that's mostly what you're tasting in there. I don't know if you guys can kind of see down there, but there's a lot of red. It's more amber then you might believe a Bock might be having Michelob's Amber Bock. It doesn't taste anything like this. It's totally like two different ball games. It really, the Amber Bock kind of has a more distinct beer flavor. As this is, it's just so fruity. It's definitely maybe more like a really, really dark lambic almost. It's ingenious, the way that somebody thought of this. And adding 5 different malts definitely adds to a complex flavor that maybe brings out a lot more in the fruit and overall taste. You can definitely, the more I've gone down, you can definitely see that there is a lot more caramel on my glass, on the outside of it, which is very, very, very unique. I've done maybe 1 or 2 dark beers on this show before, and none of them have quite held a glass like that. So, just an amazing, amazing beer. And at 10%, you can barely almost taste after your 3rd or 4th sip any kind of alcohol volume to it. I definitely give this beer a high rating. It would really do good with maybe a heavier meal, maybe like a roast or something like that. It would definitely help out. So, as always, if you guys have any comments or want us to try any different beers, you just leave them in the comments below, and we'll hope to see you soon.